and welcome to Business 360. I'm Arundhati Ramnan, and these are the top headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. The record run continues on Dalal Street. Sensex and Nifty hit lifetime highs, even though the gains remain modest. Nifty ends at record highs for the fourth straight session. M&M Top Bra shares its three-point growth strategy with CNBC-TV18 on its Investor Day. The strategy includes capitalizing on market leadership in auto and farm segments, unlocking potential in IT and financial services, and chasing high growth in its emerging portfolio. The stock rallies in trade. Zomato is in talks with Paytm to buy its movies and ticketing business. Both companies confirmed the talks while also adding that a disclosure is not warranted at this stage. The Supreme Court issues notices to the National Testing Agency, and the union government seeks a response over alleged question paper leak and other irregularities in the national eligibility cum entrance test for admission at medical colleges amidst widespread protests by students. The advertising industry is up in arms as the government's self-certification portal goes live following a Supreme Court order. Advertisers slam the one-size-fits-all approach, claim the rules for television are being forced on the digital ecosystem. At least 15 people were killed and over 50 injured after a freight train rammed into the Kanchanjunga Express in Darjeeling. This comes a year after the Coromandel Express collision, which killed nearly 300 people in Odisha's Balasore. At least 17 Palestinians killed in overnight strikes on a refugee camp, according to Hamas officials. Tensions also rise at Israel's border with Lebanon after reports of a drone infiltration by Hezbollah fighters. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra takes the electoral plunge to contest Wayanad by-elections after Rahul Gandhi chooses to relinquish and retain Rai Bareli. The BJP accuses the Congress of indulging in dynastic politics. The Congress hits back, points out that Prime Minister Modi had relinquished Vadodara in 2014 as well. Straight to the day's market action, then. Records continue to tumble on Dalal Street, even though the gains were limited. The Nifty closed at a lifetime high for the fourth straight session, gaining over 90 points. The Sensex gained over 300 points. Mid-cap index closed at record highs for the sixth straight session. So it's green across the screen there. Nigel D'Souza is here with all of that action. Nigel?
Well, it was a good start to the week. The Indian markets ended well in the green, and the Nifty Bank was the one that was outperforming in today's trading session. If you're looking at the top gainers on the Nifty or the top losers on the Nifty, well, all the top three stocks, they came in from different sectors. In the gainers list, you have Power Grid that did very, very well. That was up more than 3%. The Street envisages that there's a big opportunity for this one. Shriram Finance as well, that did pretty well. And Wipro actually was the outperformer that we saw from the tech pack. On the flip side, you had Maruti, Dr. Reddy's as well as Tata Steel. All of them lost out between 1% to around 2% odd. The Mahindra Group stocks, well, they were rallying in today's trading session. The management sounded very, very optimistic in the interview here with CNBC-TV18. So you had Mahindra and Mahindra, that's part of the Nifty. Well, that was up close to around 1.5%. But MMFSL, well, that's been a relative underperformer. What the management guided for was that credit cost will come down. You have cost to income as well that cool off a little bit. And Mahindra Life Spaces, they spoke about leveraging the Mahindra brand out here. So both those two did quite well from the broader markets. The only sore point today was at the start of the trading session, you had the number of stocks that were advancing were way more than the number of stocks that were declining. But as you can see on the screen, well, both those two narrowed down as the session progressed. Defense stocks, they continue to remain in focus. HAL, Paras, both of them big movers in trade. Paras was locked up a circuit up close to around 20%. And the housing finance companies as well, whether it was LIC, Canfin Homes, PNB Housing, all of them saw rallies of around 4 to around 7% in trade. A couple of stocks, though, that had some valuation comfort and actually have been underperformers, namely Manappuram as well as Stovecraft. Both of them came back on the buy list in today's trading session. So from broader markets, there were plenty of movers. Things look good. Just one word of caution. On the day the Nifty ended higher, we didn't see that the VIX cooled off. So that's just one data point that you should be tracking for the next few sessions.
Record run there on Dalal Street, but with limited gains. Thank you so much for those details, Nigel. Now, the top corporate story this evening. Mahindra & Mahindra's top brass has shared its three-point growth strategy with CNBC-TV18 on its Investor Day. Group CEO and Managing Director Anish Shah has said that the strategy includes capitalizing on market leadership in the auto and farm segments. The company said it also aims to unlock potential in IT and targeted a margin expansion of over 500 basis points as part of its multi-year growth plan. Take a look.
Growth and returns has been in our DNA. Unlocking full potential in Tech Mahindra and Mahindra Finance. Both are businesses that are very strong franchises. Both have had some struggles in the recent past and have underperformed their peers. But the lessons from there have put significant plans for growth over the next few years. Mahindra Finance is well on the path to turnaround. Techem with Mohit Joshi coming in has just commenced its turnaround. And both are businesses that I think are going to be very good for the investor and obviously for the group. And then the third is our growth gems. This is a set of 10 businesses. All of them have great potential. We have increased the valuation of growth gems over the last 4 years by 5x, from roughly 0.8, 0.9 billion to about 4.2 billion at the end of the last fiscal year.
Several growth drivers for the tractor market here. We are very far from saturation. We have a big opportunity to gain share there, and products which we've recently launched, the 3XO, allows us to do that. So there is we are number 5 in that segment in the compact segment by way of rank. So and we think we really have a strong proposition with 3XO, which can make us number 1 or number 2 or 3 years. So there's a lot we can do in ICE, many new products, some refreshes or mid-cycle enhancements, as we call them, some completely new products. So, and we want to stay invested in ICE because at least 70% of the market 3 years from now will be ICE.
We will deliver a 15% EBIT margin by FY27, and so that is the plan. It's a 3-year plan. Again, I'm very reluctant to give quarterly or near-term targets because there is a lot of volatility, right? And because, as we've said, we're in the middle of a turnaround story. In the first year, you should expect volatility. You should expect us to go, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, because that is the nature of the business, right? We're also investing heavily in the business to create the foundation for long-term success. But we've given a very clear expectation of where we expect to be from a growth perspective, from a return on capital perspective, from a free cash flow perspective, and from a margin perspective by FY27, and to build on what already is a world-class franchise. I think things are certainly looking better than they did, a year ago. And from our perspective, look, we have a new strategic narrative of scale at speed. We have reorganized the organization. So we also have our own internal tailwinds working for us. But I would say that it's less dire than it was a year ago. And it certainly seems like things are going to get better 6 to 12 months down the line further.
Meanwhile, food aggregator Zomato is in advanced talks with Paytm for the fintech's movie and ticketing business. Both sides have said that while talks are ongoing, no binding agreement has been put into place just yet. Mangalam Malu joins us now with those details. Mangalam, if the deal were to fructify, what would it mean for both sides?
It's a nod to the new regulations of SEBI, which require companies to give clear communication on news articles that come by. This is, reports that came during the weekend that Zomato will buy Paytm's entertainment business in a deal size anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 odd crores. And both the companies have very shortly told the exchanges that yes, they are actually in talks for a potential deal for the sale of Paytm's entertainment business, though no binding agreement has been arrived at yet. Now, this is a positive deal for both the companies. Why is that? Because this will aid Zomato's going out business which includes, dine out, etc., and a lot of these events that Zomato has been seeding over the last 12 to 18 months. In FY24, did a revenue of almost 258 crores, a fraction in the overall revenue of Zomato. But then again, this is where the company is seeding growth. And secondly, Paytm, which acquired Insider.in, NH7 Weekend, EDC and the Grubfest in 2018 for an undisclosed amount, has been on this path of selling out its non-core businesses. And if the deal were to happen in this 1,500 to 2,000 crore valuation band that the street is speaking about, it will give them some reprieve, some liquidity. And for Zomato itself, it won't cost too much of their cash balance as well. The cash on their books as of March 2024 were close to 12,241 crores. With strong growth in Blinkit, with break-even in their food delivery business, likely break-even in Blinkit soon as well, with increased cash per quarter, these acquisitions is something that the street wouldn't mind. Had this been about a couple of years ago, then maybe this would have been termed as an adventurism. But right now, it is a fairly liberal use of the cash that they have to seed growth in their verticals, which are smaller right now, but where Zomato sees more potential.
Right, Mangalam, many thanks for those details. Now, Late Travel News Technology, the parent company of travel aggregator Ixigo, made a stellar debut on Dalal Street. The stock listed at a 49% premium over its issue price. The company's 720 crore rupee public issue received robust response from QIB and HNI category. The company plans to use the proceeds from the issue to fund its working capital needs, invest in cloud infra and finance potential acquisitions. Vodafone is likely to sell its 21.5% stake in Indus Towers through block deals, which are likely to take place soon. Sources say that at the current market price, the entire stake could be valued at $2.3 billion. Nimesh Shah joins us now with all of those details. Nimesh, what would this mean for both the companies?
Vodafone PLC is looking to sell a large stake in Indus Tower, and that might happen very soon. In fact, my sources tell me that maybe it can happen in a day or two. Now, just for records, Vodafone PLC owns 21.5% stake in Indus Tower, and that is valued at close to $2.3 billion. Now, first, what it means for Vodafone Idea. Now, UBS has written a note today morning, and they believe and they say that, could the proceeds be used or be infused to Vodafone Idea? So there is a very high chance, but it's not as big an amount as what the street is anticipating. Now, I'll give you a background to this. Now, in 2019, Vodafone Idea had raised money via rights issue, where Vodafone Idea had put in Vodafone PLC had put in close to $1.5 billion. Now, this money was infused by pledging the shares of Indus Tower. So, whatever Vodafone PLC sells stake in Indus Tower via block deal, the first commitment would be towards the lenders, and that outstanding amount is close to $1.8 to $1.84 billion. Now, assuming that entire 21% is sold via block deal, then Vodafone will get close to $2.3 billion, out of which the first would be $1.8 billion of lenders' commitment. Apart from that, the remaining $500 million is what UBS believes can be infused into Vodafone Idea. So that could be a near-term trigger for Vodafone Idea to do well. That's what UBS is believing, and hence they have a buy rating with a target price of 18 rupees. The second stock to watch will be Indus Tower itself. Now, even from an Indus Tower perspective, same, if Vodafone PLC sells the entire stake, $1.8 billion will go to the lenders, and the remaining will be infused into Vodafone Idea. Now, in Indus Tower, Vodafone PLC in March had sold 4.5% stake to Bharti Airtel, and that money was infused into Vodafone Idea, and the outstanding dues were paid for Indus Tower. If similar thing has to happen now again, 5,400 is what is outstanding as far as Vodafone Idea's payment towards Indus Tower. If that has to happen, if the entire stake is sold, if the money comes into Vodafone Idea, then there is a very high possibility, according to JP Morgan, that there could be a 15 rupees per share special dividend to Indus Tower shareholders. So it's like assuming that the entire stake gets sold by Vodafone in Indus Tower, there is an implication for Vodafone Idea, wherein they get $500 million of inflow from PLC, and for Indus Tower it would mean that potentially there could be a 15 rupees per share special dividend.
Right, Nimesh, many thanks for those details. Now, Indian national Nikhil Gupta, who is accused of being involved in a murder-for-hire plot against Sikh separatist Gurpatwant Singh Panun on American soil, has pleaded not guilty in a U.S. federal court. Gupta was extradited to the U.S. from the Czech Republic on the 14th of June. U.S. prosecutors have alleged that Gupta was working for unnamed Indian government officials. The issue has been taken by the U.S. with Indian government at the highest levels. India had also instituted an inquiry to look into allegations made by U.S. prosecutors. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met his American counterpart in the national capital on the 17th of June. Doval and Sullivan pledged to deepen partnership between the two nations in critical and new technologies. They also agreed to bolster ties in areas of defense technology, artificial intelligence. This meet was on the back of Sullivan's two-day visit to India. The Reserve Bank of India has won the Risk Manager of the Year award for 2024 by leading a British publication called Central Banking. Announcing the award, the publication said RBI was awarded for enhancing its risk culture and awareness. RBI's Executive Director, Manoranjan Mishra, received the award on behalf of the institution at a ceremony held in London. The advertising industry has flagged concerns over the Supreme Court-imposed rule that mandates companies to upload self-declaration against misleading advertisements. Advertisers claim that this one-size-fits-all approach could have a severe impact on the industry. Ashmit Kumar is here with all of those details. Ashmit, how does the industry see these norms impacting business?
Well, the industry is greatly concerned about the way forward. We'll come to that in just a bit, but here's the context. While hearing the case of misleading advertisements by Patanjali, the Apex Court had widened the course of proceedings, and in that scope of proceedings had included directions, very clear directions, that all advertisers, before issuance of these advertisements, will have to issue an undertaking that the advertisements in question are not misleading. And as a result of that order, the MIB, the Ministry of Information and Broadcast, put out a portal. That portal becomes effective today, goes live today, and therein lies the industry's concerns. The words used by the industry in the consultations that were done are severe impact that is likely expected of this portal mechanism, and that practical questions are being raised about the efficacy of these directions. Now, what's important here is that the industry says that on a daily basis there are crores of advertisements that are put out. This is a one-size-fits-all approach, that TV rules are being applied in toto, even to the digital space, without any consideration to the complexities of advertisements across various platforms, size, context. Further going on to say that the fact that there are lakhs of applications that are likely to be made, the lakhs of undertakings that are likely to be submitted, questions are raised about the bandwidth, whether or not MIB has any to effectively review all these undertakings being submitted by advertisers. Questions are also being raised about whether influencers or celebrities are required to submit undertaking that the product that they're endorsing is in fact not misleading. They don't make any misleading claims. Also raising questions about the fact that whether or not legally this is tenable. Cable TV rules have provided for this portal that MIB is speaking of, but can these rules apply in toto to digital entities which are regulated by the IT Act, amongst other statutory provisions? So questions being raised. There are suggestions that the industry has given that perhaps there needs to be a considerate note that the Apex Court needs to strike in further proceedings. But clearly, as of right now, this portal of the MIB has gone live with concerns being raised by the industry.
All right, Ashmit, thank you so much for taking us through those details. Now, it's been a weak start to the Indian monsoon season so far. As per the Met Department, India received 20% less rainfall than normal since the start of June. Barring a few states in South India, almost all states have received deficit rainfall. This comes as a concern for the agriculture sector, as timely onset of monsoon is critical for kharif crops. Manisha Gupta is here with more on the monsoon lull.
Well, you know, as the June started, we were above normal. We came to normal, and now we are below normal. And how? So when you look at the cumulative June 1 to June 17 of a number, we are almost 20% below normal overall India there. And this is a chart that tells you on how we have fared in sense of monsoon, in sense of geographical sense. So the most affected, by the way, is Northwest, where the monsoon is 68% below normal. We are 20 to 29% below normal for Northeast and Central India as well. And this is where your grain bowl is. So the sowing also is something that the street is concerned about. South India is the only one which is showing in the positive right now. Here as well, when you look at Kerala, we are in deep negative onto that one. We should get you on what we've done in case of South India. So Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Karnataka are in the positive. Clearly, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh doing way better than the other states here. Kerala has been minus 46%. The onset of monsoon was perhaps a day early, but after that, the monsoon has just not picked up in Kerala. So rubber and various other commodities is going to get impacted when it comes to plantation and sowing there. Maharashtra is plus 6%. We did see good monsoon in the previous week, but since then it has been quite a dry state here as well. And Gujarat is at minus 71%. Madhya Pradesh, as we've been talking about, is minus 54%. And this really could be a concern. Last year as well, we did see late sowing, delayed monsoon and late harvest as well. And that is something that the street is worrying about right now as well. The IMD has also issued heat wave alert till 19th of June in various states like Delhi, Haryana, UP as well. For Delhi, the concern has been that you have seen a heat wave alert for last 8 days now. And for last 35 days, the Delhi temperature has been above 40 degrees. So concerns clearly coming in there. And the IMD also suggests that the next couple of days could still be hotter there. And that is when you could see the temperatures easing off. The positive also comes in the sense because US, Japan and the World Meteorological Department, everybody suggests that there are higher chances now of La Nina coming in from July up till September. So even as June seems to be going not so well in sense of monsoon in India, but going forward, if we do see La Nina coming in, then the expectations are that July and month of August could be quite positive in sense of monsoons. We live in hope.
We do live in hope, right? Manisha, thank you so much for those details. Now, the Met Department expects the monsoon to pick up in Maharashtra later this week. Sunil Kamble, the Western Zone IMD, had said that southwesterly winds are likely to gain momentum in the state from tomorrow onwards.
Whenever monsoon current is strong, we get a very good rain. Once the monsoon is onset, and then afterwards, after 2-3 days, winds became moderate. And because of the moderate wind, we didn't get the monsoon current towards our coast. That's why intensity of rainfall has reduced. But now, if you see next coming 2-3 days, the intensity is again, the intensity of the winds are strengthening, and we are expecting from 20th we'll have a very good monsoon rain in upcoming days.
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra takes the electoral plunge to contest Wayanad by-elections after Rahul Gandhi chooses to relinquish it and retain Raebareli. The BJP accuses the Congress of indulging in dynastic politics. Details when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still with us on Business 360. Now, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is all set for her electoral debut in the Wayanad Lok Sabha by-election. The by-poll would be necessitated after Rahul Gandhi, who won both Wayanad and Raebareli seats by a thumping margin in the Lok Sabha elections, chose to retain the latter. Abhimanyu Sharma joins us now with all of those details. Abhimanyu, Priyanka finally taking the poll plunge. What is the significance of this move for the Congress?
The Wayanad Lok Sabha by-poll is slated to be Priyanka Gandhi's maiden electoral foray and a larger strategy on part of the Congress party to focus more on Northern India. Rahul Gandhi, who is going to retain his Raebareli Lok Sabha seat, in all likelihood is going to focus more on expanding the electoral fortunes of the party in parts of Northern India, particularly Uttar Pradesh. The Samajwadi Party and Congress had jointly contested the Lok Sabha elections this time around, and it had reaped benefits for both the parties. The vote share of the Congress party had increased to 66% compared to just 55% in 2019 and 63% in 2014 on the Raebareli seat. Both the parties would be looking to contest the upcoming assembly by-polls on 10 seats in the state of Uttar Pradesh as part of expanding their electoral fortunes. Also, Priyanka Gandhi's presence in the electoral foray is possibly going to offset the absence of Sonia Gandhi from electoral politics, as well as the exodus of several Congress leaders in the recent past.
Gandhi has the right to contest from anywhere in the country, but there are many questions that arise from this decision of the Congress, and in particular Rahul Gandhi. As you know, Rahul Gandhi was a sitting MP in Wayanad. The people of Wayanad elected him in 2019, gave him a 5-year mandate. He deceived them. And today, after they have in good faith supported him and given him one more chance to do something for the people, he is basically washing his hands and saying, look, I am going to Raebareli.
To keep that political morality, Rahul Gandhi should have informed the Wayanad constituency voters. It is not only that they have given a victory to them, the voters should be informed that he is, in his mind, he is planning to contest another constituency. He did not inform this. That's an injustice to the voters of Wayanad.
रायबरेली को भी 2 सांसदों का लाभ मिलेगा और वायनाड को भी 2 सांसदों का लाभ मिलेगा। मुझे लगता है इससे अच्छा कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं हो सकता था। बहुत अच्छा। रही बात भारतीय जनता पार्टी की, तो हम उन्हें रोक थोड़े रहे हैं। आए वायनाड में, उनका कोई भी नेता मोदी जी लड़ना चाहते हैं, उनका स्वागत है, कोई रोक थोड़ी रहा है उनको। आप हमारी पार्टी में तय मत कीजिए कि हमें किसको टिकट देनी है। आप अपनी पार्टी की चिंता कीजिए, आपको किसको लड़वाना है लड़वाइए ना, कौन रोक रहा है आपको।
At least 15 people have been killed and over 50 injured after a freight train rammed into the Kanchanjunga Express in Darjeeling on Monday morning. At least 4 coaches in the rear of the train were severely damaged in the collision at Rangapani. The railway board said that the incident may have happened because the goods train disregarded the signal. The accident comes a year after the Coromandel Express collision, which killed nearly 300 people in Odisha's Balasore. With the NDA-3 government getting down to business, all eyes are on the union budget. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that the budget will be presented on the 22nd of July. A formal announcement is due. Real estate tycoon Niranjan Hiranandani has laid out his wish list ahead of the union budget next month. In an interview with CNBC-TV18, Hiranandani said that he would like the finance minister to bring about a parity on capital gains tax for the sector. We also spoke to Dinesh Kanabar of Dhruva Advisors. He said that a simplified tax structure where there is one standard TDS rate for the salaried class was a key ask. Take a look.
If you sell a share, long-term capital gains tax is 1 year and 10%, while in the case of housing, it is 3 years and 20%. I think investment into housing segment also needs to be encouraged in a similar way as you do in the capital markets. So we will expect that that will really happen quickly and put a kind of a parity in investments into. We still have a long way to fulfill the requirements of roti, kapda, makan. Roti, kapda you have fulfilled. Makan you have not yet fulfilled.
So our suggestion has been to have a very simplified TDS structure with a single rate. So there is a TDS for salaries, there's a TDS for earnings by way of race horses, or lottery, etc. And balance should be a single rate rather than multiple rates, which forces the tax withholder to make choices. And same thing for TCS. So today we have multiple rates of taxes. I remember for CNBC I had prepared a chart, and even when I prepared it as a practitioner, it was so difficult to really categorize. So we have taxes for long-term, short-term, different assets, resident, non-residents, all of that. And the question really was, is there a way in which one can rationalize number of, it can be done away totally, but can, for example, we have a common rate between residents, non-residents? Can we have doing away with the multiple surcharges that exist, all of those? So we put quite a few things out there.
And with that, it is a wrap on Business 360. But as we go, here's a quick note. A daily wrap of the top headlines will hit your inbox every day before you call it a night. CNBC-TV18's daily newsletter on LinkedIn featuring the top 10 stories on markets, corporate updates, economic insights, and financial highlights. So subscribe now and get the CNBC-TV18 Edge. The news continues right here after this very short break.